श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। After having completed karma and upasana, karmani chitta shuddhyartham. When karma is done for fulfilling the desires of our life, then that karma becomes the cause for transmigration from one life to another life. But if karma is done for the purification of the mind, see, therefore there are different types of karma. One karma is nishiddha karma, it should never be done. Second is kamya karma, fulfilling our desires. Then the third karma is nishkama karma. The karma is not done to get something out of the karma. So what for we have to do the karma? The karma is done for chitta shuddhyartham. Chitta Shuddhi is removal of the burden of likes and dislikes from our mind. If we have really lived, today there is too much of echo, my dear. Again you will turn, twist it. Now it is better. The same thing you can do to this side. Somebody can twist it little bit to the right. That's it. Better. Better now? Say yes. So, if the karma is practiced for purification of the mind, then that karma is initially called as I am doing my duty. Bhagavad Gita tells us duty-oriented lifestyle. Our life is right-oriented lifestyle. This is my right, I should get it, I have paid for it. So whenever we talk about our rights, we forget about our duties. Therefore, the lowest category of lifestyle is fighting for the rights. Those who fight for the rights, they have no right to be happy. They keep on fighting throughout the life. So, Hobena, you go to Calcutta, you'll get a big slogan there. Nothing can happen, nothing can happen. Because they talk only about rights. And to get out of this right-oriented lifestyle, Bhagavad Gita tells us, practice duty-oriented lifestyle. Now see what happens. These two lifestyles. When I am talking about my right, what happens? And when I talk about my duty, what happens? Now take this example. We are together. I am a speaker and I hope you are a listener. I don't know whether you are listening or sleeping. Today sound is not good. Maharaj, what is wrong? I have promised tomorrow I will not come. At least today keep it okay. Is it better? No. This is electronic Omkar. Is it better now? That is what I was telling, twist it more also. Then the echo will not come. When these two sound waves come and dash at each other, they start fighting. So when I talk about my right, now as a speaker, what is my right? My right is, you should all listen, should not sleep, is my right. And as you, the listeners, what is your right on me? I should talk sense, not nonsense. So, third step, I have no control over you, and you have no control over me. Net result, absolute utter failure. See? Now take the duty-oriented lifestyle. I do my duty sincerely, not to the best of my capacity, but to the required best. Many of us have got this notion, I did my best. Why didn't I succeed? Because it was not the required best. Our best may be the worst. See? So, when I do my duty, that I talk keeping the subject in view properly, and you do your duty, you come here on time and listen sincerely. Now see what is happening. I can fulfill my duty without depending on you. You can fulfill your duty without depending on me. So when I fulfill my duty, your rights are taken care of. And when you fulfill your duty, my right is taken care of. This is the duty-oriented lifestyle Bhagavad Gita talks of. See? So, karmanye vadikaraste, that is our duty. Now, when we live this duty-oriented lifestyle, what happens? We unknowingly develop a very strong I. I do my duty. I have taken care of my children. I have taken care of my wife. I have taken care of my husband. All the time, I. And such people, toward the end of their life, they are frustrated. See, Swamiji, I have done so much for my children, but they don't listen to me. See, I have done my duty. Then how do we get out of this catch? First we are told do duty, then we are told the duty will make you miserable. Then convert the duty into devotion. Now the life is not done by duty orientation, but devotion orientation. When we do the duty, we are the doer, kartrutva abhiman. But when the same thing is practiced as devotion, we are not the kartrutva abhimani, we are not the doer, but we are the devotee. Who is the devotee? He who doesn't vote. He who doesn't vote. Oh Lord, thy will be done, not mine, not mine. See, there is no ego left behind. In this manner, when we do the karma, where is our attention? If attention is on the purification of the mind, then we have understood the secret of karma. Those people who get frustrated toward the end of their life, they have not lived the proper life. Clear understanding. See? In the old age, Taittiriya Upanishad tells, two frustrations we carry. Upanishad says, I am not telling. Upanishad says, Kimahagam papam akaravam iti. Kimahagam, why did I do the wrong things? See? And why I didn't do the right things? But now it is too early for the next life. This life is very late now. This thing happens because we have not done the karma in the right perspective. So, karmani chitta shuddhyartham. So, when our life, our mind doesn't carry any more burdens of guilt or arrogance towards the end of our life, then we have lived a proper life. Step number one. After this is done, the second thing is upasana. Upasana is aikagryartham upasanam. Upasana is done training the mind to be applied to the same cause for a longer period of time with minimum efforts. That is upasana. Now, when we start chanting the Lord's name, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they have stolen this technique from our mind. What happens on our computer? We open 3, 4, 5 windows. One window, one program is running, second window, second program is running. Exactly the same way, we open many windows. One window, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Second window, Kapde nahi dhoye, I had to wash my clothes. Third window, the water is too cold, I don't know why they don't provide hot water. The fourth one. So at a time, half a dozen windows are open, and in one window, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya by default. See, friends. And then we complain that whenever I sit for meditation, the mind runs here and there. Because we have not done upasana with a view to work on the mind. Our upasana is, oh Lord, I will do 100,000 times your japa. In exchange of this japa number, kindly get me good numbers in the examination. See? Our devotion is not for devotion. Our devotion is not out of love. Our devotion is one more attempt how to bribe God so that our things are done. But on the contrary, if we practice devotion so that the mind is trained, see, so we have to train the mind in upasana. Give small lessons to the mind. Chant Lord's name only 3 times, in such a manner that no dissimilar thought intercepts in between. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. This silence that follows after proper chanting of the Lord's name, we extend that silence. The width of the silence is slowly extended from 2 seconds to 5 seconds to 10 seconds to 20 seconds, and thus develop the stamina. Then the mind is trained, that the mind can be applied for a given job continuously without any interception of dissimilar thought. This is called a chitta ekagrata, single-pointedness of the mind. Single-pointedness of the mind is the freedom to apply the mind for a given job for a required length of time without much efforts. Now when these 2 things happen, mind is pure, mind is single-pointed. Now this mind is now available for contemplation. A contemplative mind does not question. A contemplative mind inquires. Kastvam koham kutamayataha Kame janani kome tataha iti paribhavaya. Paribhavaya, contemplate. See. Then the real inquiry begins. Then the worldly things do not matter much. See, friends. And when we are capable of that, then tadvijnanartam gurumeva vigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham. Then we go to the Guru Maharaj, who is Shrotriya Brahmanistha, and he will instruct us. See, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, there is one mantra. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. I don't know whether you know or not. You will be surprised to know if you do not know. If you know, then it is not a surprise. The surprise is, on this verse, Shirdi Sai Baba has a commentary. Those who do not know, they will get a shock of it. See, one of his followers was, doing the seva, and he was, so Baba asked, hey, what are you doing? No, I am chanting. What are you chanting? I am chanting Gita. Oh, Gita. What are you chanting? Chant loudly. So that very moment, this verse was in his mouth. Tad vidhi praniparatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. He said, what is the meaning of this? We imagine Shirdi Sai Baba was illiterate, What he knows about Sanskrit? We evaluate the people according to our standard of ignorance. See? So he told, according to Shankaracharya, according to Madhvacharya, according to Ramanujacharya, according to this Shankaranandi Tika, so many things are told. And then Baba tells, see, there is one more meaning. When we go to the teacher, they don't explain knowledge. See, Upadekshanti te jnanam. Those who know Sanskrit language, there after te and jnanam, in between avagraha comes. Avagraha is a silent a, I, E, U, silent a. So, upadekshanti te ajnanam. Knowledge cannot be explained. All the talks are only in the field of ignorance. Knowledge is neither created nor explained. Upadekshanti te ajnanam. And what is that ajnanam? Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. This all falls in ajnanam. See, friends, Mundakopanishad, the student asked the question, Adihi Bhagavan kasminnu etad vidya sarvamidam vidyatam bhavati? Kasminnu Bhagavo sarvamidam vidyatam bhavati. What is that one because of which, having known, everything becomes known? And the teacher says, Dve vidde veditavve iti. There are two things to be known. Parachaiva paracha. Paravidya and aparavidya. And in aparavidya, Upanishad clearly spells out Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chandam, Jyotisham iti. The 4 Vedas and the 6 Vedangas, they fall in the Aparavidya. Aparavidya means the knowledge pertaining to the relativity. See? And Paravidya, Para yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. Paravidya is that by which the non-dual is revealed. See, friends. Therefore, all the talks are only in the field of ignorance. They are not in the field of knowledge. All the talks. See, many times, you have seen me, I have got rather overflowing WQ. You know WQ? There is something called as IQ. IQ, you know? WQ means wit quotient. About everything some wit comes out. And there are people who are unable to tolerate wit, They can't tolerate wit. They want all the time gambhirya, all the serious. So, once my lectures were over somewhere, and I was walking, so one person came, Swamiji, I said, hey, how did you like today's bluffs? He said, Swamiji, this is what I want to tell you. You tell it bluff? I said, yes, it is a bluff. No, you told us so nicely, how it can be a bluff? I said, I can prove it. Yato vacho nivartanti aprapya manasasaha Paramatma is that which cannot be spoken of by the mouth. Therefore, whatever you speak is a bluff. About the world, worldly, is it real? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. So suppose I give you a report. When I was coming from Bengaluru, on the way I came across a lot of mirage waters. And I collected it in my bucket, in my bottles, and analyzed it. And then I found it is potable. And the contents, the mineral content optimum, and there is no bacterial contamination. If I give you this report, will it be a truth? Because when the mirage water itself doesn't exist, whatever you talk about it is a bluff. In Hindi, those of you who know, when we take a spoon and put in our mouth, it is called as jhuta. Jhuta means a lie. Anything which is touched by the tongue is a bluff. Therefore, Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varsheshtante Vasadrushiganaihi Avrutam Brahma Vrindaihi Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramananda Rupam Swatma Ramam Mudita Vadanam Dakshinamurti Mide. The real eloquence of silence alone reveals the truth. See, friends. And that silence is called as Prashanti Nilayam. The silence that we know is against the sound. This silence, Prashanti, is not against the sound. This Prashanti neither can be enhanced by the silence nor can be destroyed by the noise. See, friends. Therefore, this knowledge has to be very clearly received by us. So, what we were told, that there is but one reality. Because of the conditioning or the upadhi, one appears to be three. See? So, the man with the conditioning of the father is called as son. The same man with the conditioning of the wife is called as husband. The same man with the conditioning of his son, he is called as father. So, has he become three? No, he is one. In the same manner, Paramatma with the conditioning of the names and the forms is called as Jagat. See, Asti Bhati Priya Nama Rupa iti Panchamshakam Adyatrayam Brahma Rupam Jagad Rupam Tatodvayam. See, Satchidananda, name and form. These five things together constitute the world. Out of these five, the first three are Brahman, the reality, and Nama Rupa is only the Jagat. See, friends. Therefore, Paramatma with the conditioning of the names and forms is world. Paramatma with the conditioning of the Panchakoshas is Jiva. Paramatma with the conditioning of his Maya is Ishvara. So who is Paramatma? Paramatma is Jiva also, Jagat also, Ishvara also. Like the man is son also, husband also, father also. Think. Now out of these three, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, we are given this instruction, Tattvamasi. Now, on the basis of this Tattvamasi Mahavakya Upadesh, the knowledge takes place. Tat is Paramatma. Now that Paramatma is Ishvara and Jagat by one set of conditioning. And the same Paramatma is Jiva by the one set of conditioning. So when Paramatma with the conditioning of name and form, Jagat, Paramatma with the conditioning of Maya, Ishvara. This is on one side. So Paramatma is both as Ishvara, the efficient cause, and Jagat as the material cause. And the Jivatma is Paramatma expressing through the limitations of the Panchakoshas. Now, out of these three situations, Jivatma, I or you, have only freedom to work on ourselves. I cannot remove the names and forms of the world. I have neither freedom nor capacity. I cannot erase that. Similarly, I cannot meddle with the Maya of Bhagavan. I cannot do anything. But this is the Upadesh. Tattvamasi, reject the conditions and discover the substratum. Tattvamasi. So, Tvam, who are you? I am the Jiva, Alpagya, Alpashaktiman. Ishvara, Sarvagya, omniscient, Sarvashaktiman, omnipotent. How can I, the Jiva, who is Alpagya, Alpashaktiman, will become Ishvara, the Sarvagya, Sarvashaktiman? How it is possible? Then we are told, you have to do Tat Pada Shodhanam and Tvam Pada Shodhanam. Be attentive. Shodhanam, this word has two meanings. One meaning is purification. Second meaning is searching. So, when we apply this Tvam Pada Shodhanam, purify yourself. See. And what is the purification? Purification is na tvam deho nendriyani na prano na mano na dhi vikaritvad vinashitvad drishyatvad cha ghato yatha. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, neither the body nor the prana nor the mind nor the sense organs nor the organs of action nor the intellect can be you, because three results are given. Vikaritvad Vinashitva drushyatvacha ghato yatha. Like a pot is seen, the pot undergoes modifications and the pot is destroyed. Now apply. Is it not applicable to our own self? The body that I take myself to be, I am a man or woman, so I have taken myself to be, I means body. So what is this body? Drishyatvad. This body is an object of knowledge. Vikaritvat, this body is constantly changing. Third, Vinashitvat, body definitely gets destroyed. Therefore, how can I be the body? Work on this. And for that, we have to learn the art of coming to a right conclusion by scientific analysis. That is called as the Shad Vidhalinga Nirnay. Don't go into that, I'll not confuse you further, it's enough. So, when something is told, what is the moral of the story? See? We have to learn the moral of the story. Like, one day I was telling in some place how we can never understand the experience of the wise people. Wise alone knows the ways of the wise, the other wise cannot know. So, to explain this point, I have told one story. There was a fish from the sea and it came in a well. In that well there was a frog. And when the fish came from somewhere outside, the frog was the king of the well, Kupa Manduka. So the frog asked, hey, where from you have come? Fish said, I came from the sea. Sea, what is that sea? Because frog has never seen sea. He is only in the Kupa Manduka. It's a sea is a huge collection of water. How much huge? So the frog showed his small hands, this much. Now fish doesn't have head, he has only tail. He said, no. Then the frog became, okay, this much. Again the fish said, no. Then he took his both hands, this much, no. This much, no. Then he took a leap. This much, he said, no. Then he became very angry and diagonally he jumped. From this end to this much, he said, no, Baba. How much? Come with me. And they went to the sea. And when they went to the sea, now the fish asked, how much is the water? Tell me. So, when the frog was in the well, he can never understand what the sea is, but when he gets into the sea, he doesn't ask. He keeps his mouth shut. So the story is over. The finite cannot understand the infinite. This was the purpose. After listening the story, one elderly, very simpleton got up and he said, Swamiji, I have got a question. I said, keep with you, I don't need, I have got plenty of them. He said, no, I want to ask you a question. I said, okay. In what language the fish and the frog spoke? I said, they spoke in Japanese. Now, what is the moral of the story and what question comes? Now, if this is clear, now go further. We are told about last life, this life, next life. Now, what is the moral of the story? Moral of the story is, never we were born, never we grow, never we die. That is the moral of the story. But all the time we are carrying this burden of Jara Mrityu with reference to body, Ashana Pipase with reference to prana, and Shoka Moha with reference to the mind. Till such time we carry the burden of the 6 problems, we are in hell. See, in Sanskrit language, ko, ke only, ko is a suffix. When it is added, it doesn't change the meaning of the word. Like bala means a child, balaka means a child. Similarly, nara, naraka, no difference. See friends, all the spiritual practices rise above the body identification. We are living as body, we have to live through the body. See friends, when we start living through body, the quality of our life will be different. When we start living as the body, the quality of our life will be different. See, therefore, in this Tattvamasi Mahavakya, we have to do Tvam Pada Shodhanam, purification of the meaning of this. What do we mean by Jiva? So, Natvam Deho, you cannot be the gross body. Then, the body is not created by us, the body doesn't listen to us, and yet I am the body. And we call ourselves to be wiser than the wisest. The body is not our property. It belongs to someone else. See, that is why in our scriptures it is said, Matru Devo Bhava. The first owner of the body is mother, Pitru Devo Bhava, second owner is the father, Acharya Devo Bhava, the third owner is the Guru Maharaj, and fourth is Atithi Devo Bhava. This everyone owns this body, not me. See friends. Therefore, we discard the body. What is the meaning of discarding the body? Be attentive. Discarding the body means none of the things and beings of the waking world have any influence on our life. Things and beings. This is a waking dream, friends. Yesterday when I said something, many of us got the hiccups. Like there is a separate dreamer for every dream. There is a separate waker for every waking experience. I as a child and I as a oldie cannot be the same. But what is our notion? It is the same body. Body has not changed. Doctors tell us that after every 7 years, every cell of the body is completely replaced. Therefore, suppose I am 70 years of age, I have changed 10 bodies. But do I get that experience that I have changed the 10 bodies? Because our identification with the body is so firm that we don't want to give it up. So the first step on the spiritual path is work on freedom from body identification. And what does it mean? Possessions and relations must be reduced to the minimum. See? And to reduce that, simple technique, give yourself minimum choice. See? Lesser the choice, more the happiness. More the choice, lesser the happiness. No choice, all happiness. See? So we discard the body, cannot be me. We have made one purification. Then prana, hunger and thirst. Whole life goes only in eating, eating, eating. See? How many types of dishes and types of food, and this is not there, that is not there. And all the time, what we have done so far. One person died and went to up. And Bhagavan asked him, hey, I made you human being, what did you do? What did I do? I ate. Acha, what? I ate 7 truckloads of rice. I am from South India. Acha. Then I drank 17 tankers of milk because I was in Punjab. Acha. Arey Baba, what did you produce? Garbage, nothing else. From our body, other than seva of the world, nothing worthy comes out. See friends, body is made only for one purpose, and that is serve. Don't try to improve anyone. See, the secret of service, we all read everywhere, serve all. What is the meaning of service? See friends, we serve somebody whom we consider superior than us. We serve our parents. We don't serve the dog. See? Therefore, when we serve, we find an excuse to see some criteria that somebody is superior than me. Then only we can serve. There are 4 types of superiorities. One is the gross superiority. Somebody is elder than us by age, he deserves respect and service. No question is asked. Second thing is somebody is richer than us. He has got more wealth. He deserves respect and service. Don't bother how money has come to him. That is not our business. See? It's not our business. But normally we become jealous. We know how they have collected money. Who asked you? See? Then the third thing is somebody is powerful than us. Then he deserves respect and service. And somebody is jnana vruddha. Somebody who is wise as regard the knowledge is concerned. So we are trying to find out an excuse why I should serve anybody. That is spiritual practice. See friends. And to summarize this whole thing, the simplest thing, in everyone our Baba is sitting. See? Deho devalaya proktaha, dehi devo niranjanaha, architaha sarva bhavena svanubhutya virajate. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, dehaha devalaya proktaha. The body is a mobile temple of God. And dehi devo proktaha. And dehi embodied is none other than the Lord. See, when we look at the temple from a long distance, only the Kalasha is seen. The moment we see the Kalasha, what comes in our mind? Whose temple it must be? We don't ask who constructed it, whether it is cement or whether it is a wooden work. No. Our attention goes, whose temple? Rama, Sita, Govinda, Narayana, whose temple it is? Exactly. Every body is a house where he is living. Therefore, suspecting divinity in everyone, when we work, that is called a seva. See? We are ready to suspect divinity in the man-made idols. But we refuse to suspect the divinity in God's own creation. And how do we buy the idols? Once I went to Jaipur. Every year I go there, and I like seeing the things. So one day I said, hey, let's go for shopping. So where? I said, take me anywhere. So he thought I am a Babaji. So he took me to a Murti lane where all the idols of the gods are sold. So when we were going, one shopkeeper came and he said, oh Swamiji, please come, please come. I said, let's go. We went inside. He said, see, this is Krishna's statue, and last night I had a dream. The same Krishna came in my dream and told, tomorrow such and such Swami will come, you give me to him. I said, okay. I told him, uthao, le jao. He said, for you, only 51,000 rupees. But it is meant for you. I said, I also got the dream. And the same statue told me, I am in such and such shop. Their owner will call you and he'll tell you 51,000. Don't give him. Give him 51 rupees. Now, as I cannot challenge his dream, he cannot challenge my dream. He says, Swamiji, you are very humorous. I say, this time I am serious. I am not humorous. So, give me that. Finally, we bargained and we bought it for something like 20,000 rupees. Now, after we bargained that poor Krishna, brought him and installed and did the puja. And what a puja? Oh Krishna, 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 I have purchased a lottery. I should get $1 million. Krishna says, you bargained me. My value is 20,000 and you want in this investment millions of dollars. Forget about it. Friends, we are ready to suspect divine presence in the man-made objects, but we refuse to see His presence in His own creation. How can we serve? Service demands change in the vision. See, this is what Ishavasya says. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita. When we look at this world as a place of enjoyment, we will be bhogi. But when we look at the same world as the manifestation of the divine principle, we will not be bhogi, but we will be serving the world. See, friends, this is purification or the purification of ourselves. So we discard the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, one by one, and we come to a point which cannot be rejected. Be very attentive. Many times people ask this question, Swamiji, this happened in USA, in Florida. There was some place, I went there for satsang. After satsang was over, one NRI South Indian came for the lecture, elderly person, a typical South Indian makeup. The lungi and then the cloth above that and then angavastra and all marks and also the dish antenna, everything perfect. And then he said, excuse me Swamiji, as you are Brahman, I am also Brahman, but people don't recognize me, I am as a Brahman. So kindly give me some tips so that people recognize me as Brahman. Look here. See, friends, therefore, how do we know that we have arrived at the right point? Be attentive. That about which you have no question, no doubt that you are. Now find out. We have no question, we have no doubt about our presence. this experience of yours is living in God. At this moment, we are neither man, woman, young, old, rich, poor, good, bad. This is called as Tvam Pada Shodhanam. We have discarded step by step. Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Taittiriya Upanishad, children chant there. Etam Annamayam Upasankramya, Etam Pranamayam Upasankramya, Manomayam Upasankramya, Vijnanamayam Upasankramya, Anandamayam Upasankramya. Thereafter what? Etas Samagayan Naste, Ha, Vuha, Vu. Ahamannam, 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 ahamannado, ahamannadaha. Samagayan is declaration of fulfillment. See, friends, this is the meaning of Tattvamasi Mahavakya, Tvam Pada Shodhanam. One part we have done. See? When thus a seeker is practicing more and more, longer and longer time he spends on this, then what happens? This is called technically as Atma Khyati. Atma Khyati means we come to recognize ourselves to be the self which is no more conditioned, although expressing through the conditionings, as our essential nature. In the language of the Kundalini, this is called as, this is the position at the Vishuddha Chakra. It is a thought-free I. There is no thought associated with this I. So here when we come, it is half the story. Then what about the world? I have discovered I am the self. See, I am no more the body, deho naham, prano naham. I understood it. Then who I am? I am the self, Atma, Atmananda. What about the world? World is useless, gone, completely erased. So the second step is Tat Pada Shodhanam. Now Shodhanam is seeking. Seek God. Search Him. See? One of the explanation given about Parikshit. His name was Parikshit because he was all the time searching. Paritaha ikshati iti parikshitaha. See? Continuously searching. Because when he was in the womb of his mother, Bhagavan Krishna entered and he was protected by him from the Brahmastra of the Ashwatthama. So when he came out, he was searching, who is that person? Who saved me? Who saved me? Constantly searching. Parikshita. See? And when he discovered, he was so happy. See? So in the same manner, we have to seek Him. Where is He? Where is He? Bhagavan in the 7th chapter says, don't try to play with my Maya. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama Maya duratyaya mam evaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. My Maya is very difficult. Don't try to play with it. Duratyaya, very difficult. See? Then what is to be done? Great Mahatmas tell stories. to communicate the truth. See? I tell you, once it happened in South Africa, many years before. We were having a retreat. Every year I have got 2 or 3 retreats in South Africa. This year also there will be, 2015. So, there was one retreat in Good Shepherd's Retreat Center. Very beautiful, nicely mountainous area, very calm and quiet. So, when our retreats are going on, so I told our friends, I said, let anybody come, don't worry about money, enough is money. Anybody comes, let them come and sit. So all the staff members, everything who were working there, they used to come and sit and we used to have the satsanga. And there was one person who was just a floating population. He came from somewhere, going somewhere. For one night he came. So when he was allowed to sit, he wanted to sit more. They said, no problem, free. See? We used to go for a walk in the hills in the evening. He said, can I join with you? I said, I don't know whether you can join or not. He said, no, I want to join. I said, then join. Then why do you say, I don't know? I said, because your question is wrong. You should ask a question, may I join with you? Not can I join with you? How could I know whether you can join or not? Okay. May I join? I said, join. Then he used to ask me very, very irritating questions just to make me angry. That was his project. Any question he asked, I has to tell him a story. Everything, every time. Any question he asks, story. I am not short of stories because I can create stories. So, one question, one story. Second question, again story. Third question, again story. It continued 3 days. 4th day, he hugged me and he said, you are my Jesus. I said, don't put the thorn thing on my head, okay? I want to survive. I didn't ask him. He said, do you know why I call you Jesus? I said, I don't know. You can call me anything. What is there in the name? Shakespeare says, call a dog mad and hang it. It doesn't make any difference. So, he said, when Jesus used to move around and people used to ask questions, he was always telling stories. And you had not answered a single question directly, but every time you told me a story. That is the only way you can talk. Because truth cannot be told like, this is green, this is yellow. No, it cannot be. It has to communicate it very subtly. See? So, to know that how this truth can be sought in the world. So the teacher says, don't play with my Maya. So there was a fisherman, he went for fishing in a lake. And when he got down into the lake, maybe knee-deep water, and with his net he wanted to throw so he can get a good catch. So in the fish, there was one elderly fish, Budhau like me. So that elderly fish told all other fish, hey, don't run away. Stay near this fisherman's feet. So all the young fishes, the old fellow gone. He will catch us. So all of them ran away. And when he threw that net, they were caught. And the fish which was at the feet of that fisherman cannot be caught because you can't put the net on your own feet. Exactly Bhagavan Krishna says, Daivi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam evaye prapadyante. This eva avadharanartham, very important word. First, mam evaye prapadyante. Those who surrender to me and to me alone, etam mayam tarantite, they transcend the limitations of this relative world. See, first, te taranti eva, there is a guarantee. It is not, they may, no, there is no question of May or June. You definitely will be transcending the relative existence. See, what a force in that statement. See? And third thing, ye prapadyanti eva, there is no option. Only one option. Surrender, surrender, surrender. See, friends. Surrender means living at a zero complaint level. All that is needed for us is given to us for our evolution. See, friends. Therefore, Tvam-pada Shodhana, working on oneself. Tat-pada Shodhanam is surrendering to the God. Be attentive. When I go for some of my work to somebody, let us take a minister, because I have to get some work done. So I go to the minister's house. And that minister has got a useless dog, bulldog, most ugly dog. And if that dog comes and starts smelling me and licking me, will I kick that dog? No. How cute it is, how nice it is. Why? Because he's minister's dog. Because I have worked with the minister, I will even praise that dumby dog, In the same manner, if I surrender myself to the Lord, His creation, Bhagwan's vibhuti. See, in the 10th chapter, Bhagwan says, Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha saha avikampena yogena yujjate natra samshaya. These two things. First, Etam vibhutim yogam cha. Yoga is discover your divinity. And discover vibhuti, discover the divinity in the vibhuti, in the whole world. When these two things happen together, anode and cathode, tat and tvam, they come together, asi. There is no difference left. This is the meaning of Tattvamasi Mahavakya. See, friend. And when this happens, saha avikampena yogena yujjate, then there is no shaking in him. He is firmly rooted. Nothing can shake him. See, friends, our faith is constantly shaky. I don't know if it's true or not, whether Baba knows me or not. He has never even looked at me, I think he may not be liking me. Friends, one thing I learned to one Mahatma many years before, that time I was pretty young. And I wrote a letter. And in that letter I wrote, Dear Sir, English, because I don't know any other language, so I wrote in English. Dear Sir, not writing respected Swamiji, nothing like, Dear Sir, I attended your this lecture, that lecture, lectures I like, but I didn't like your behavior. You can imagine? I was trying to evaluate the behavior of the great master. But I, useless person, can write anything. I wrote. So, and because of that, last 6 months I was suffering silently. Please help me to get out these miseries. I got a reply. And the reply was, I am extremely happy you are progressing properly on the spiritual path. First line. Second line. In due time you will come to know, we see in this world what we have decided to see. We don't see in this world what is. See, friends, papi sarvatra papam ashankate. A sinner will see only sin outside. Because whatever is inside, that alone is reflected outside, friends. A devotee will see only God everywhere. See, friends, in this manner, we discover our divine nature, as well as we discover the divinity manifested in the form of the world. When these two things come together, you know what is the life thereafter? Thereafter the life is like when I have a scratching on my face, do the face send the application form to the hand? Dear Mr. Right Hand, there is the emergency scratching on my right hand, on my right side. Will you please come and relieve me? And then, excuse me, I am not available now. No. And when the hand comes and scratches, thanks a lot. No thanks. Or if the tongue is bitten by the teeth, there is no curse. Meaning, life is free from both blessing and cursing. Thereafter, life is lived without anybody being born. See, friends. And then, like in Yoga Vasishta, as well as in Atma Bodhopanishad, as well as in Mandukya Karika, first chapter itself, one most wonderful shloka comes. The shloka has really influenced me tremendously. The shloka is na nirodho na cha utpatti, na baddho na cha sadhakaha, na muktaha na mumukshurvai ittesha paramarthata. Esha paramarthata. This is the ultimate. Na nirodho na cha utpatti. Nothing is created and nothing is destroyed. Na baddho na cha sadhakaha. Nobody is bound, nobody is seeking. Na muktaha, na mumukshurvai. Nobody is seeking freedom, nobody is liberated. There is but one absolute reality in which this great drama is happening. See? What is a drama? Drama is a natak. Karnatak. See? We are very near. In that Karnatak, everything appears to be happening. But in fact, nothing happens. See, friends, as we proceed in this line, then we'll come to know the Satchidananda Paramatma has never forsaken us. It is we have rejected him. In Avadhuta Gita, last chapter, the student offers a prayer. There he says, "O Lord, I have committed 3 blunders in my life. Aparadha." 3 blunders. First blunder, I was praising you through words, and thereby I have abused you through words because you are beyond words. And I went for many yatras from here to there, and thereby I have denied your omnipresence. And I started meditating on you, and thereby I denied that you are the substance and the substratum. You are the one, not gained through meditation. See, meditation in Hindi or Sanskrit is called a dhyana. Dhyan karte nahi. Meditation is not done. Dhyan dete hai. We remain in awareness. Because na karmana na prajaya. Anything that is done through action will have a limited existence. After the force of the action is over, it will end. Like you take a stone, for example, inert, and we apply the energy of our hand and throw the stone. How long the stone will go? Till such time the energy is associated with the stone. After that, when the energy is exhausted, it will fall down. In the same manner, we do meditation half an hour and a whole day frustration. No. We have to remain in that meditative poise 24/7. And this can happen only if the foundation of our life is this. Like the gold is covered by the ornaments. What is an ornament? Gold plus name plus form plus utility plus glitter plus design. Gold is hidden. In the same manner, the gross space is hidden by the forms. The subtle space, mental space, is hidden by the thoughts. The conscious space is hidden by the I. In Yoga Vasishta, these three Akasha comes. Bhutakash, Chittakash and Chidakash. In Avadhut Gita, this is one of the technique given. Gaganopamoham. Do this dharana. What it is like being space. There will be only blankness. What it is like being space, I don't know. No, work on it, you will know. Then we'll come to know that space supports all the forms. Forms are many, but the space is one. Be attentive. Mind cannot survive if it does not establish a sequence. For the existence of the mind, sequence is essential. See, when you are all sitting and look at this mind is alive. If I focus attention only on the space, no shape, no form, the mind dissolves. We work on this. Similarly, the forms, whatever may be the form, the space is not disturbed or influenced. We may add forms, there is no burden. We may take away form, there is no loss. So we conquer the objects of experience, the world of experience, by doing dharana on the Bhutakash. Then, after we are graduated from here, then we come to the Chittakash, the mental space. In the Chittakash, the objects are the thoughts. So when thoughts do not matter us, dukkheshu anudvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspruha, no thought ever touches the mind. Good thought, bad thought. Instead of remaining aware about the mind, we get lost in the thoughts. Not thoughts, only mind. And when we thus become aware of the Chittakash, the problem of mind will be dissolved. After this is done, the third stage graduation, post-graduation is Chidakash. Chidakash is the experiencer. The waker comes and goes. The dreamer comes and goes. The deep sleeper comes and goes. The samadhistha purush comes and goes. But Chidakash is ever the same. This is called as Kutastha Chaitanya. With reference to the self, with reference to the world, the same reality is called as Brahma Chaitanya. So that which is the substratum of our experience is Kutastha Chaitanya, and that which is experienced objectively is essentially Brahma Chaitanya. They are not two, one and the same. In this manner, when we keep on this contemplative journey, the worldly things will rarely bother us. This is what Upanishad says, we chant every day. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena eke amritattva manashu parinanakam. Parinanakam, nakam is swarga, kam is sukham. See, akam means dukkham. No akam, not dukkha is swarga. So heaven is only absence of miseries. It is not positive happiness. Our deep sleep is swarga. See? Therefore, parena nakam nihitam guhayam vibrajate yad yatayo vishanti. That truth has to be discovered as one's essential nature. And friends, Bhagavan says, Sthitvasyam antakalepi brahma nirvana mruchati. This truth has to be known only once in the lifetime, not twice. Because finite can be repeated, infinite cannot be repeated. You can repeat the words, Sri Ram, Sri Ram, Sri Ram, Sri Ram. You cannot repeat the silence. Silence is infinite. Therefore, Sthitvasyam antakalepi. Even if we get established in this at the last moment of our life, then again punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam is over. This is the meaning of Tattvamasi Mahavakya as explained in this 8th chapter of Panchadashi. I have avoided all the technical terms so that it doesn't become extremely difficult. And at the end, this teacher tells that imam kutastha deepam yonu sannadate nirantaram swayam kutastha rupena dipyate sau nirantaram. This chapter, Kutastha Deep, he who has thus studied, contemplated, reflected, practiced all the time, he will certainly be established in this experience. This is a promise. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.